Boba Fett might be back. Temuera Morrison says, "Where's my season 2?" and finally breaks the silence on the Book of Boba Fett's future. Looks like he wants Boba Fett to be back. Let's take a look at this article and see what he says. It's been over 3 years since the Book of Boba Fett concluded. Wow, I did not realize it's actually been that long already. With its controversial season finale, and despite star Temuera Morrison being one of the longest tenured stars in the universe, the character hasn't been seen since. Few would push back against the claim that Book of Boba Fett wasn't without its issues. I don't think anyone would argue that. But none of these are the fault of Temuera Morrison, who portrayed the character with the same heart that he's been doing for years. Collider's Maggie Lovett recently caught up with Morrison to chat about his new movie, and she mentioned how sad she was that we haven't seen him in Star Wars since his series went off the air. Morrison expressed the same sentiment. He said, "I'm sad too. Where's the Book of Boba Fett Season 2? Where the hell is Season 2? I know they're doing Ahsoka Season 2. I'm going, where's my Season 2? And he's really not wrong. I think we know why there's not been a Season 2, but I think he has a different plans than what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau had for the first season. And I think he actually knows the character well enough to understand what could be possibly set for a Season 2. He even pitched for Boba to potentially appear in Ahsoka Season 2 by saying, "I'm trying to ring them up. Can I be Rex and take his helmet off, please?" That's the upside of being who all the clones are based on. He can play more than one character. That would be pretty cool. Imagine seeing Temuera Morrison, as Captain Rex, take his helmet off. He's just like an older Rex. That would be really, really cool in my opinion. And Temuera Morrison obviously wants to do it. He also mentioned that he ran into Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau at Star Wars Celebration and that they all shared a warm embrace. Dave and John, I actually ran into them at Celebration. You know what it's like to see when you see those guys. They got a look on their face, and there's so much going on, and I go, hey, remember Boba Fett? We had a big hug, and at the end of the day, I said, look, I'm not sure what's going on with you guys, but anyways, I had a great time. Thank you so much. Seems like a very nice sentiment from Temuera Morrison there. He's kind of saying, where's the Season 2 at? Where's Boba Fett at right now, like in the timeline? What could we do with him? But also, I think he's trying to say, like, I don't want to get too involved if that's not what you guys want to do. He says, however, that wasn't the end of the conversation. Morrison then teased that there might be more in store for Boba Fett in the future, even if he can't give away any specifics right now. And then they kind of said, well, they didn't want to say it too much, put it that way. There was a few whispers of they didn't want to say too much, but they just left it at that. Star Wars veteran also likened his current situation to a peach on the shelf at Grandma's house. Boba is currently sitting on the shelf in some preservative, which doesn't mean he's gone forever. Instead, it just means he'll be even tastier when they take him down off the shelf. So it made me feel like, did you go to Grandma's house and she had that preservative jar of peaches up on the shelf? That's what I think. I'm one of those peaches. I've been put on the shelf. I've been preserved for a later date, and I'm going to be tastier. So yeah. So anyway, that's all that's happening. That's all I've heard. I know they're doing Ahsoka Season 2. Geez, I need it to be in that Andor. What a show, Andor. Dang, that he wanted it to be in Andor. That would have been really, really cool. But it's cool that we know for sure Temuera Morrison is keeping up with the show. Like, he watched Andor Season 2, obviously, he just said. He's probably seen Ahsoka. I think it's really cool that he's at least staying in the conversation. He's watching the shows and things like that. The two closed out the interview by singing the praises of Andor and leading star Diego Luna. Andor recently wrapped up its second and final season just a few weeks ago as the highest rated Star Wars project ever. Morrison wrapped up by reassuring that he's going to hang out in my preservative jar and wait to be reopened. The reason why I think this is important to understand is because this is more than just like him saying, I want a Book of Boba Fett Season 2. This is more than just a bunch of rumors going around. He himself said that he talked to Dave at Star Wars Celebration and John, and they basically said that there were whispers, there was things going around they weren't allowed to talk too much about Boba Fett. So that means we are going to get something with Boba Fett. There's no really way of putting him in any video games right now, so I don't think it would be that, unless they're somehow doing a Battlefront 3. That would be pretty cool. But I think it has to be something in live action or animated. And if John is a part of it, I'm assuming it's something live action. So maybe there's potential for a Book of Boba Fett Season 2. I think we need to go back to the real Boba Fett roots. I mean, the dude used to be a badass, and they kind of just changed his character up nowadays. He's a little bit older and more laid back, and, there were just some things in Book of Boba Fett Season 1 that were crazy. Like, should have never been there. The infamous scene with all the different colored cars or whatever they were trying to be, those like speed racers that, you know, those things were just ridiculous. That did not seem like Star Wars at all. I really did not like that. And so moving forward, I'm really hoping that if they do a Book of Boba Fett season 2, they take the time to actually write this stuff out. Imagine Tony Gilroy writing a Book of Boba Fett series. I mean, that could have been very, very cool, alongside John and Dave. But I guess we're going to get what we get. We got a little bit of potential here for Book of Boba Fett season 2, or at least Boba Fett coming back. It's awesome that Temuera Morrison wants to come back and play him, even after season 1 was kind of a nightmare and not really received that well. I'm just really glad to see that he wants to stick around with the fan base and wants to be in Star Wars still, and wants to make things better. It's not really his fault at the end of the day. He's just playing the character that he's told to play. But I think he could do a really incredible job in a season 2 if they end up going that route. But I guess we'll just have to see. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.